What's up, guys? It's Frank from Battle City Games, and today we're going to be talking about, well, what makes card prices fluctuate, what makes card values go up, what makes card values go down. The very first thing we're going to talk about today is the competitive scene of Yu-Gi-Oh! Tournament results, and that's probably the number one thing that makes card prices go up. That and the fact that we kind of get a heads up from Japan, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. And so we get a heads up from Japan. We kind of know the decks that are going to be good, and some of the cards are going to be used in it. So as long as the ban list doesn't, and again, we'll talk about the ban list later, as long as the ban list doesn't interfere with those decks being very good, then usually those decks, or the cards in those decks, are going to be valued a little bit more. So you take things like, you look at Drytron, for instance, and Drytron Nova, the ultra rare spell card that special summons a Drytron, it is of higher value because it's an ultra rare out of a little bit older set, and you need 3 of them to play in the deck. And because you need 3 of them, because 3 of them are played in every Drytron deck virtually, and because it's an ultra rare out of an older set, and because the deck does really well in tournaments, obviously the card's going to be higher in value. It's not just going to be a $5 ultra rare or a $3 ultra rare. It's going to be a $25 to $30 ultra rare at least, because you need it. And the better the deck is, for instance, if Drytron became tier 0, the best deck in the game, hands down, nothing can beat it, then a card like Drytron Nova would probably be $40, $50, $60 at least a pop, meaning that you would pay almost $200 a playset for a card like that. And there's a lot of other cards in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! That are like that, and it's because of tournament results. So the second thing we're going to talk about today is Rarity. So obviously that kind of goes in with the tournament and competitive scene, and, you know, Drytron Nova being an ultra rare. Well, Rarity matters big time. So if you have a card like Diviner, for instance, out of the new set, Lightning Overdrive, then Diviner is going to be a $60, $70, $80, $90 card at least, because you need 3 Diviners to play in Drytron. And that makes Drytron really good again. Diviner is also just really good fairy support. So because of that, and because she's splashable in some other decks, she's a little bit more sought after. That, coupled with the fact that she's a secret rare, she's going to be harder to get out of the new set, maybe 2 or 3 a case probably on average. She's just going to be hard to get. Because of that, Diviner is worth a lot more money. And that's basically because of Rarity. The third thing we're going to talk about today, guys, is reprints. So reprints can hack a card's value, and it could also jump a card's value. So all of a sudden, if you have a card that was previously, like, let's say a super rare, but it's still highly played, so the super rare may be a $10 or $20 card, and all of a sudden we know that we're getting an ultimate rare out of it. The ultimate rare might be, you know, $30, $40, $50, $60. Take Nibiru, for instance. Nibiru was a little bit lower rarity, especially when it got the gold reprint. Cost a little bit less money, especially when it got the gold reprint. And then boom, it got the ultimate reprint. And now the ultimate reprint is through the roof because people love max rarity stuff. So reprints can affect the card, and it can make it go up or it can make it go down. Obviously, the older versions really didn't fluctuate because we got an ultimate rare, but the ultimate rare went sky high because Nibiru is a highly played card, highly played side deck card. Competitive nature, again, ties in with that. And then boom, it's an ultimate rare. People want the highest rarity. They're going to pay the big bucks for it. So it'll cost you, you know, $200, $300 a play set for Nibiru because of that. The fourth thing we're going to talk about today, guys, is the ban list. So the ban list obviously affects the way cards are valued. If all of a sudden, let's say Cyber Angel Ben 10, you know, let's just assume Cyber Angel Ben 10 was an expensive card before the last ban list. And I'm trying to use, you know, recent references for you guys. That way, you know, everyone can kind of follow along, make it easy. But Cyber Angel Ben 10, let's just imagine it was like a $60 card. And it wasn't by any means. Let's just imagine it was, though. And all of a sudden, everyone's kind of anticipating it to get banned, so it kind of drops a little bit before the ban list. But then, boom, it gets banned. It goes to 1 or it gets banned. I'm sorry, Cyber Angel Ben 10 went to 1, but either way, it goes to 1 or it gets banned. And that price crumbles. I mean, we're talking about it goes, you know, from $60 to $20, $15, $10 even. You know, it really crashes a price. So the ban list can really mess with cards' values. They can make it plummet. They can also make cards go up. All of a sudden, if one deck like Drytron crumbles, and then another deck like Tri-Brigade comes to the top or something, then it can make the cards centered around the new deck that comes to the top really good. The fifth thing we're going to talk about today, guys, is set leaks and Japan, the OCG, and how that kind of ties in with everything we've talked about as well. So with Yu-Gi-Oh, we kind of have almost like a 6 to 8 month in advance window of what's coming out as far as generic stuff. So Lightning Overdrive is going to have some of the same generic cards from Japan cross over to the Americas. However, one of the things that's going to be different, though, is that we're going to get things like TCG exclusives. They're not going to get. We're going to get certain imports, cards they already have. It's kind of wonky the way that they do it, but the way that they do it keeps it exciting. The vast majority, let's just say 70 to 80% of the card pool is relatively the same. So because of that, a lot of the stuff that comes from the OCG, we kind of get a heads up for. And because we get a heads up for what's coming out, you know, in the Americas from Japan, we kind of know the cards that are going to be good and the cards are going to be sought after. And because of this, it kind of allows us to establish that market ahead of time. So things like Diviner, we already know Diviner's the hype card out of the set. It's going to be a hard card to get out of the set. And because we know those things, it's automatically going to be priced higher. It's not going to be a cheap secret rare just because there's so much that's centered around that card, and that's what makes it go up in value. And knowing that certain cards, like I say, come from Japan or getting imported in certain times, or you can play good guesses for certain cards getting reprinted. I've heard things like, you know, potentially like Magician's Rod getting reprinted potentially in King's Court just because it's a Yu-Gi themed set. If something like that happens, then it's going to cause something like Magician's Rod to go crazy. But because we know that King's Court is a Yu-Gi set, and because we've kind of got these hints here and there, it's not out of the question. So you always have to pay attention to all the little things, because if you pay attention to the little things that are coming out in Japan and coming our way, then sometimes that can help make, you know, good decisions on picking up cards that are going to be, you know, that are cheap now that may be expensive later, or, you know, something that might be good or coming up good, you want to go ahead and pick up the core for, because lo and behold, it's going to be really good later on. Anyways, guys, it's been a pleasure. I wanted to give you guys 5 quick things that kind of make card prices fluctuate, card values go up and down. There's going to be more to come with this, so we'll follow-up video. Guys, remember, we're Battle City Games. We're going to keep making content for you guys. We're going to try to keep making openings, deck profiles, keep you guys informed. We got the whole shebang coming. So, don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to comment, let us know what you think. This is Frank from Battle City Games. Check you later.